Hello, my name is Pusnam Yiri. Um, I'm a personal development trainer and coach, and I also train leaders in professional book writing. This evening, I want to talk to you about how book writing can develop Africa. And I want to also share with you why I am passionate about book writing. Um, on this platform, I have been encouraging you people to engage in personal development. And the idea is for you to become extra leaders. And there was a time somebody asked me a question: what is the meaning of extra leadership or extra leaders? This is the meaning. The idea is to move you from ordinary to extraordinary. Anytime you become extraordinary, anytime you improve in your way of thinking, anytime you become more, you have become an extra leader. So, in another word, an extra leader is anybody who engages in personal development. And I have also encouraged you to understand that an extra leader engages mainly in three areas. Number one is that he is driven by the godly purpose, which means the extra leader is conscious of the fact that he's in this world to accomplish God's purpose. And then he or she operates from his or her area of calling. They are not involved in everything, they are just focusing more in their areas of calling. And calling leads to leadership. And I also told you that he or she engages in book writing. Why is book writing important? It is important because it is going to lead to continuity. If you look at Africa today, one of the reasons we are underdeveloped, there are many reasons, but one of the reasons we are underdeveloped is because we don't engage in the culture of book writing effectively. Our leaders lived, many of them lived well, led well, but they did not write. They died undocumented. Because of that, we cannot access their wisdom. We cannot access their values. We cannot even access their stories to be inspired. It's like every generation is starting afresh, is starting from nothing to something when we are supposed to look at the conservation of the values of our previous leaders and elders, criticize and then create. Because there is no proper documentation, each generation is starting with its own identity. So that is one of the reasons Africa is underdeveloped. We don't have effective access to the values of people. The people who lived well and led well. You know, so book writing is important. Let me give you an example. My father lived well, he led well, but he died without writing a book. But he was a disciplined person, an excellent speaker. Today, I cannot access his book, but I have some of his devotional booklets. He had read, the raw ones, with me, but yeah, he didn't leave a book. It was even after his death that I found a page of his testimony of conversion, how he gave his life to Christ. After his death, I found a page. That was how I got to know about it. And I asked my mother recently, to tell me about my paternal grandparents and my maternal grandparents. She told me a few things about them. She told me that my paternal grandfather was a creative person, was a good storyteller, was a good speaker. He was a funny person. And look at me. My father was a very good speaker, a very good storyteller. I'm also a storyteller. I'm also a speaker. Assuming my grandfather had written a book, assuming I have a book written by my grandfather, his values will have been valuable to me. But he died. I cannot even recall his face. I can't remember meeting him. If you show me his picture now, I will not know. So many leaders, many elders in Africa lived and died undocumented. They did not save their values. And that is why it's very important for us to avoid that path. We need to live well, we need to lead well, and we need to document our values for subsequent generations. Somebody said that it takes three things, to develop a place. First of all, you need conservation. First of all, you need conservation. You need to conserve. You need to conserve knowledge. That is why people abroad have museums as part of conservation. And then the second, you need criticism. We have to look at the conserved knowledge, the conserved traditions, the conserved whatever, and then we criticize. But we can't criticize if we do not have access to conservation. And then after criticism, according to that person, the third step is we create. But right now, look at us here. We are not having access to conservation. We are not criticizing, and we are always creating. And that's why we are not making progress. But I am convinced that through book writing, we will be able to save the wisdom, the knowledge, the experiences, and the values of our parents, of our grandparents, of our leaders, and then subsequent generations will be able to go through these conservations and then criticize and create. That's why I'm passionate about book writing. And I want to invite you, especially on the 3rd of July, we are going to start our 1 month, book writing coaching program. It's an exciting program. We started it last year. And I can tell you, our first students in this program are all working on their books. And I'm so proud of them because they are working on their books. They are committed to excellence, and they listen to advice. But we started training writers in Nigeria in, I think, 2010, yes. And that was how it developed. And by the grace of God, I experienced international training of writers. I had opportunities where I interacted with international writers from different continents, from different countries. And I know that Africa, we can do it by the grace of God. We can do it if only we change the way we think, if only we change the way we approach project. Many people do not approach project with excellence. Many people do not have the patience to pursue projects to the level where it can be shared globally. They are always in a hurry. So this program is going to help you. If you are out there and you are listening or watching me right now, and you know that you are an expert in something, this program is for you. On the 3rd of July this year, we are going to commence. And I hope you will be able to join. For now, we only need 15 students. 15 students. If we see the level of interest, probably we will increase, but we only need 15 students. So if you are contemplating whether to attend or not, I encourage you to do it. After this presentation, you will see our email where you can now send your brief profile. We need your profile so that we can know you before we meet you, so that we will know your area of strength, your area of justification. So I encourage you to attend this program. It's going to help you a lot. I have written 13 books, and there are plenty manuscripts, that I'm yet to release. And I thank God for my development from local author to international. And recently I became an international judge in an international contest. And that gave me a bigger view of the international writing contest or the international writing industry. We have valuable lessons to share with you. So if you're out there and you want to become a professional writer, this program is for you. We need professional writers. We need Africans to engage in professional writing. If you are in a hurry, there are many writers that have contacted me. There are many writers that asked for my help, but I discovered that they were in a hurry. Some of them were in a hurry just to release the books, to launch the books, probably because of the money. I don't understand. They are in a hurry. Some of them didn't even listen to professional advice. Some of them are running away from professional advice because probably they think professional advice would delay them. But I have also worked with a few authors who are excellent, authors who desire quality, authors who desire the international standard. And I hope you will be one of them. So we can develop Africa through writing. Okay, let me ask you this question. How many elders, how many elders did you or do you know who are no longer alive? Wise elders, excellent elders who just died and disappeared. In the next 10, 15, or 20 years, they may be forgotten. They may be forgotten. If you don't want to be forgotten, if you don't want the values God has blessed you with to be forgotten, I encourage you to write a book. If you put these messages on CD, a time will come when another invention will be made, and the present storage system you have may be rendered useless. I remember when we were a kid, we use VHS tapes. Today I have many VHS tapes in my house, but they are outdated. They are outdated. So book is the best form of conservation. No wonder God gave us a book. He gave us a book. So we shouldn't allow our elders to die undocumented. If you're an elder listening to me, I encourage you to pick up the challenge and say to yourself, you will become an extra leader. You remember, an extra leader is driven by the godly purpose. He is leading from his area of calling, and he is writing books about his value stories so that this generation and subsequent generations will be blessed. Behind me, I have my home library here. There are many books written many, many years ago, but they are still valuable. They are still blessing my life and the lives of others. They are here. Look at them here. Many of them written many years ago. Some of them before I was even born, but they are still valuable today. So if we want Africa to develop, we have to, arise and ensure that we stop our elders from dying undocumented. If we know that there are elders who have things to offer to us, let's go and get their wisdom. Let's go and get their knowledge before they leave. Because if they leave undocumented, we are going to lose everything. Let me give you another example. A carpenter will live in a village, he will work in a village, do business in a village for 30 years. And then the carpenter will just die and disappear. He will go with his values. New carpenters will emerge in that village and repeat all his mistakes because of lack of conservation, because of lack of documentation. But let's assume the carpenter has written, has documented his knowledge, his wisdom, his errors in a book. The new carpenters will only look at his conservation, criticize, learn, and they avoid his errors, and then they create wonderful, businesses for themselves. So please, I challenge you, do not live well. Do not lead well and die undocumented. Live well, lead well, and die documented. A book can outlive you the next 1,000 years. Like me, by the grace of God, my 13 books that I have released so far, if I die today, maybe the next 1,000 years, I don't know, if Christ does not return, the next 1,000 years, if these books are still in circulation, people will read them, people will talk about them, and that means I may not disappear. I may not disappear. So if you think you know something, let's see it in a book. People will remember you by what you have done. So I encourage you, maybe if that person is your father and you want to document him, please go ahead. Attend this class and then write a book about your father. Write a book about your grandfather. Write a book about your leader. Write a book about yourself. Never you leave this world without leaving a book. If you do that, then you will become an extra leader who is driven by the godly purpose, leading from his area of calling and documenting his values in a book so that subsequent generations can benefit from the journey. Thank you very much. I hope you are going to make up your mind and enroll in this 1 month program, and you will never regret it. Thank you.